Dear Holy Trinity community, during these challenging times, I am coming to you from my home with you, so longing that we could be together on Sunday mornings to sing, to be in sacred space, and then the high point of my week to celebrate the Eucharist with you. During these extraordinary times and for pastoral reasons, your staff has decided to occasionally offer communion where you could share that in your home. I'd like to give you a couple hints and suggestions as you prepare for Sunday if you're going to partake in communion with us in that way. First is to set a special table, to put out a tablecloth or a special cloth, put out a plate and cup, light a candle, a flower, an icon, perhaps a Bible or some other object that's important to you, to make it really special and to observe communion as we do in church with great reverence. In terms of bread, at the store, if you have time, you could buy a small baguette or dinner roll. You could use any bread, really, or make substitutions as necessary. And for health reasons, to do whatever is best for you. There's also the possibility of baking the Holy Trinity bread recipe, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. In terms of wine, of course, a bottle of wine, maybe from a box wine or a small bottle that Sutter Home and other places make. For communion, just put as much as you're going to use for the service on the plate and in the cup. And then following the service, we invite you to consume the remainder. That's what we do at church, or we pour and place the uneaten or undrunk bread and wine on the ground. For the remainder of the bread and wine that is left in your bottle, you obviously can drink that in the day or the days ahead. During the service, we'll invite you to say the words to each other if you're with others, or I, the presider, will say the words, the body of Christ and the blood of Christ for you, to make you part of the community. And we've decided that we would like this service to be live so that you can see the community. We are a community. We are the body of Christ, and partaking as part of the community. Oh, and by the way, if you would prefer to wait till we're in person, there'll be options, and there'll be a blessing during the service like we do on Sundays for those who choose not to commune. So now, if you'd like to stay on the video, Holy Trinity has its own several bread recipes, but one that's very popular that uses simple ingredients and doesn't use yeast. It has baking powder, honey, canola oil, whole wheat flour, salt, water, milk, and I have prepared a little bit ahead, but we take the wet ingredients and combine them with the dry ingredients, as you can see, and we mix that together. Bread itself, baking bread, can be a very holy spiritual experience in itself. And during this pandemic, I know that many of you have been making special meals and posting them online. Some of you baking bread, time to do things that we don't always have time to do. So I'm going to take this and add just a little bit more liquid to it. In fact, let's just push this out here now. And as you can see, if it's like this, I'm going to wet my hands with just a little bit more water. If that's the case, as you know, you kind of have to improvise as we make things. I forgot to mention that you may want to make half a recipe, since a full recipe would serve up to 200 people like we have on a Sunday. And also, what I've done is made small loaves instead of the larger ones we have at church, about this size, and I made about 11 of them. And of course, you're going to adapt the recipe and kind of check the cooking time as you go, knowing that we're like life, adapting during these challenging times. Okay, the bread is in the oven. It's been in about 7 minutes, and I have to tell you, even when I bake bread with yeast or any kind of bread, I'm never exactly sure when it's done, and it's easy for me to get things overdone or underdone, but such is life, right? We do the best we can. But here we go. Here are some of my small, they look like cookies actually, and good enough to eat for snacks. but they will also become for us the bread of life as we celebrate. So hope to see you Sunday, and blessings to you during this week.